Hello, and welcome to Dawn Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. I'm Daniel Pineda. We have a great program this week. We have our news stories, community bulletin board, and 55 plus news. But first, a social media reminder. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. Also on Facebook and WERA 96.7 FM. And now on to our first news story for this week. Arlington County's COVID case site has reported that they now update only on a weekly schedule, with the most recent data being dated May 26th. This was accompanied by a statement that the reporting date was being temporarily changed because of the Memorial Day holiday. This has the effect of distorting the periodic readings. The total case count on that date was 48,654. The increase over the previous report 10 days earlier was 1,658. As for vaccinations, we examined Arlington County's vaccination tracker. The most recent date for that site was also changed, in this case to May 8th. As of that date, 200,178 Arlingtonians aged 5 and above have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. They show that figure as 88.3% of their estimated eligible population of 226,754 Arlingtonians. 26,576 Arlingtonians remain unvaccinated. Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for 5 through 11-year-olds is still available at the following locations. Arlington Mill Community Center, that's located at 909 South Dinwiddie Street, and Walter Reed Community Center, that's located at 2909 16th Street South. Walk-ins for 5 through 11-year-olds are available Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. For more information, consult the Arlington County website. On Saturday, May 21st, Arlington County Parks and Recreation held a celebration of the reopening of the newly renovated Jenny Dean Park, an integral part of the Green Valley community for more than 75 years. The event lasted from 12 noon to 3 p.m. and included a mini parade, live music from Joe Go Project, a ceremony with past members of the baseball league that played at the park, along with other attractions. Building upon its history and the community's love of the sports and arts, the park has been transformed into an exciting place designed to celebrate the area's past and cultural heritage while increasing access to recreation and nature. Arlington County Board Chair Katie Crystal said, "Jenny Dean Park is deeply entwined with the history of Arlington. When the county was segregated, this was the park for Black Arlingtonians from Green Valley and beyond, who imbued this space with a love of community, sports, and arts. In partnership with community leaders, these new renovations seek to both honor that history and build upon it." Jenny Dean Park has been expanded by 2.25 acres, which allows for a larger and more modern playground. The picnic shelter has been renovated, making it fully accessible along 4 Mile Run. The restrooms were updated to be all gender. The diamond fields and athletic courts have been relocated to increase playability with more efficient LED lights. There is also a new history walk with a timeline of significant dates and events that happened at Jenny Dean Park. As part of the new park, artist Mark Riggleman developed a site-specific public art wheelhouse inspired by the mill that stood in this location in the early 1700s and the park's rich recreational history. Starting in the 1930s, the Jenny Dean Park became a major hub for Black baseball clubs in the region, where game days were lively social epicenters for the community. Over the next few decades, more teams were formed, both semi-pro and recreational, run by members of the Green Valley community. There are several pennants of the historic semi-pro and recreational teams from Green Valley along the fence of the Diamond Fields. They were designed by local graphic artist Ted Irvine in collaboration with the Green Valley Civic Association. The two fields have been named after Ernest E. Johnson and Robert Winkler in recognition of their contributions to the Green Valley community. Mr. Johnson became the director of what was called the Negro Recreation Section. It was a separate division of the county's segregated Department of Recreation in 1950. Under Mr. Johnson's leadership, the Negro Recreation Section expanded to include a variety of sports, dance, theater, musical, and community events for all the Black American communities in Arlington. He was a vital figure in the county's African American community and ultimately oversaw the desegregation of Arlington recreation in the early 1960s. He went on to serve the county for another 20 years.
The following story comes from our friends at Now. The Virginia Department of Health has announced the first presumed monkeypox case in a Virginia resident. The patient is an adult female resident of the northern region of Virginia with recent international travel history to an African country where the disease is known to occur. She was not infectious during travel. She did not require hospitalization and is isolating at home to monitor her health. No additional cases have been detected in Virginia at this time. According to State Health Commissioner Colin M. Green, monkeypox is a very rare disease in the United States. Transmission requires close contact with someone with symptomatic monkeypox, and the virus has not shown the ability to spread rapidly in the general population. The Virginia Department of Health is monitoring national and international trends and has notified medical providers in Virginia to watch for monkeypox cases and report them to their local health district as soon as possible. Based on the limited information currently available about the evolving multi-country outbreak, the risk to the public appears to be very low. Illness typically begins with fever, headache, muscle aches, exhaustion, and swelling of the lymph nodes. After a few days, a specific type of rash appears, often starting on the face and then spreading to other parts of the body. Symptoms generally appear 7 to 14 days after exposure and, for most people, clear up within 2 to 4 weeks. However, some people can have severe illness and die. As with many viral illnesses, treatment mainly involves supportive care and relief of symptoms. If you are sick and have symptoms consistent with monkeypox, seek medical care from your health care provider. For more information, you can visit the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website, the World Health Organization website, and the Virginia Department of Health website. We also received the following press release from the Arlington County government, which we will read verbatim. The Arlington County Board expresses our grief, dismay, and anger at the recent murders of Americans in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas. For us, as for so many Arlington parents, grandparents, and neighbors, the massacre of 19 elementary schoolers and 2 of their teachers is unconscionable, as is the act of hate-driven domestic terrorism that took the lives of 10 Americans the week before. These are 2 of the more than 200 mass shootings in the United States so far this year. The massacre at Robb Elementary School is the 27th to occur at a K-12 school. Our hearts are heavy for the families who are suffering from the most profound loss imaginable. This is not a time to stop expressing our outrage and condolences. We renew our commitment to act to the fullest extent of our local authority and call for additional action so that we can further protect our community from gun violence. In partnership with our General Assembly delegation, the Arlington County Board has sought and rapidly enacted, when granted, local authority for gun violence protection policies and ordinances. These actions include the 2020 establishment of gun-free zones in public facilities in Arlington and interagency collaboration to locally implement a 2016 law removing guns from family abuse offenders. There is a great deal more to be done to address gun violence, and we call on the Virginia General Assembly and the Governor to make protecting all Virginians a priority and to remove the restrictions that bar the Commonwealth's localities from implementing the gun safety actions that make sense for our communities. There are too many loopholes and exceptions that allow those with ill intent to obtain a firearm. We call for action to, among other measures, close the gift exemption to background checks, allow local licensing and registration requirements for buying and selling guns, and/or establish a state permit and licensing requirement for open carry. Require the safe storage of firearms in the presence of minors. Expand the eligible categories for extreme risk protection orders. Establish a firearm intervention and prevention fund. Above all, we call for expansions of the exemptions from the state's preemption laws that constrain localities from our own community action. Preventable gun violence claims the lives of too many Americans, especially American children. We all are entitled to a life free of violence in our homes and when we gather in public to learn, to shop, to recreate, and to pray. End quote. Here at Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, we note the absence of restrictions on access to military-style assault weapons. That's enough news for this week. Now it's time for Community Bulletin Board, or CBB.
Hi, and welcome to CBB. Our first CBB event comes through the Arlington County Public Library. Take an escape with a romance and get to know Farrah Heron, the author of Camilla Knows Best, who will join in for a Zoom discussion of her book. Here's the book description. For Camilla Hussein, life is good. She's got plenty of friends, a doting father, and her dog has more Instagram followers than most reality stars. But when she notices her longtime friend Rohan is spending much more time with another woman, Camilla wonders for the first time if a little self-improvement might be in order. First step, take her weekly Bollywood viewing parties to levels unreached, improving on the food, decor, and guest list. Next, secure a prestigious event planning role that will help further her own career. But it suddenly seems like the more she tries to plan, the more things are starting to unravel. She'd always assumed that Rohan never saw beyond her matching dog sweaters and color-coordinated kitchen appliances. But is it possible that Rohan always thought Camilla was more than enough just the way she was? That's the gist of the story. Registration is required. New members are always welcome. You don't have to read the book to join, but it is encouraged. Instructions to join the Zoom meeting will be emailed to all registrants. That's on Wednesday, June 8th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Our next event is a chance for caregivers to connect with others who will understand. It is being presented in partnership with Arlington County Aging and Disability. This group is for people who are caring for or have a loved one with Alzheimer's dementia and would benefit from talking to others in a similar position. It's a chance to receive and offer empathy, encouragement, and advice. Group discussion is led by an experienced facilitator, and anything shared in the group is considered confidential. Registration is required. For more information, contact Ingrid Kaufman at ikauff@arlingtonva.us. For the current policies on masking, see the Library Operations Update. That's on Thursday, June 9th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. in the Glebe Room at Central Library, 1015 North Quincy Street. Next up, Roslyn Cinema is back on the lawn at Gateway Park. Join in Friday evenings in June for a fun summer lineup of your favorite movies, voted by you in the March Madness movie bracket. The movies range from kids' animated movies to the perfect date night rom-com and even adventure, so there's a genre for everyone. This event is free and no registration is required. They'll have beer and wine for sale starting at 5 o'clock p.m. and different food trucks throughout the series. You can get some food on site or pick up from any of the local Roslyn restaurants and grab the perfect spot on the lawn to enjoy the evening. The movies will begin approximately at sundown. The next movie will be Mamma Mia, which is rated PG-13. That's on Friday, June 10th from 5 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. at Gateway Park, 1300 Langston Boulevard. The next event is a program for kids in grades 6 to 12. In this workshop, they can learn about the designer toy movement and the difference between CAD and organic 3D modeling. Participants will digitally sculpt a character's head using organic modeling before attaching it to the classic Dunny toy body using CAD modeling. At the end of the workshop, participants will have a custom art toy design that has an articulated head that is ready to be 3D printed. Patrons will be notified after the toys have completed printing and will be able to collect the finished toys at the Columbia Pike Library. There is no fee for the 3D printed toy. Registration is required. If you do register and then later find you are unable to attend, they ask that you cancel your registration using the link found in the registration email. For more information, call 703-228-7718 or email lib-makers@arlingtonva.us. For the current policies on masking, refer to the Library Operations Update. That's on Friday, June 10th from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. in the Drew Room at Columbia Pike Branch Library, 816 South Walter Reed Drive. Our final CBB event is for all ages. It's being presented in partnership with Arlington Arts. They are excited to feature Dan and Claudia Zanes in concert. This performance is one of 4 featured library programs during the Lubber Run Summer Concert Series. Here's some information about Dan and Claudia Zanes. Grammy Award-winning children's performer Dan Zanes and Haitian-American music therapist, jazz vocalist Claudia Zanes have been making music with each other since the day they met in the fall of 2016. Their first duo album, Let Love Be Your Guide, was recently released on Smithsonian Folkways. Filled with uplifting messages, these electric folk songs and sing-alongs are in English, Creole, and Spanish. There are touches of gospel, country, R&B, and traditional Haitian music. During their highly interactive live shows, the audience is invited to dance and sing along in what might be called a casual and subversively educational party atmosphere. That's on Sunday, June 12th from 11 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock noon at Lubber Run Amphitheater, 200 North Columbus Street. Now it's time for 55 Plus News.
Howdy, and welcome to 55 Plus News. Our first event is called Study of Words. It's a chance to learn about the history of English and language as a whole. Have fun sharing individual words, phrases, expressions, and other items of linguistic interest. Now, this is a hybrid program. You can either join facilitators Steve Shapiro in person or on Zoom. You can sign up based on your preference. This group meets on the second Wednesday of each month. You can register online at the Parks and Recreation website. For more information, call 703-228-4747. For the live session, the activity number is 914-402-20. And that's on Wednesday, June 8th from 10:30 to 11:45 a.m. at Lubber Run Community Center, 200 North Columbus Street. Now, the activity number for the virtual session is 914-402-21. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Next up, we got History Roundtable. This is a chance to take part in thought-provoking discussions about pivotal events in history. At your option, you can research and deliver a 5-minute presentation on the month's topic, or listen and learn from others. In June, they'll be discussing the impact of the 14th and 15th century. I figure without those 2 centuries, we would have had a heck of a time getting to this one. The group also meets on the second Wednesday of each month. You can register online at the Parks and Recreation website. The activity number is 914-402-13. And that's on Wednesday, June 8th from 11:15 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This is a virtual event. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Next up, more history, the history of Arlington. Join Carl Van Newkirk with the Arlington Historical Society for a brief overview of Arlington's history. He will cover topics such as colonial history, the Civil War, the Water and Rail Transformation Network, land developers, and the infrastructure that has unified Arlington into what it is today. You can register online at the Parks and Recreation website. The activity number is 914-400-01. That's on Wednesday, June 8th from 2 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. at Lubber Run Community Center, 200 North Columbus Street. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Next up, 10 warning signs. Sooner or later, some folks start asking themselves, am I just getting old, or am I getting Alzheimer's? Is forgetfulness a natural part of aging? Well, Dan Cronin, program manager of the Alzheimer's Association National Capital Area Chapter, will provide an understanding of the difference between normal aging and when symptoms reveal a larger problem. You can register online at the Parks and Recreation website. The activity number is 914-500-03. That's on Thursday, June 9th from 12 noon to 1 o'clock p.m. at Arlington Mill Community Center, 909 South Dinwiddie Street. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Our final 55 plus event is called Making Your Retirement Money Last. Are you anxious about how to make your retirement nest egg last when the stock market is so volatile? Shirley Liu, an award-winning financial advisor and educator with Shirley Liu and Associates Financial Services, will discuss retirement investment strategies in these uncertain times. She will be appearing on screen via Zoom at the center, or you can watch the live broadcast at home. Sign up based on your preference. You can register online at the Parks and Recreation website. The activity number for the live show is 914-404-02. That's on Thursday, June 9th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. at Arlington Mill Community Center, 909 South Dinwiddie Street. The activity number for the virtual session is 914-404-03. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Anyway, that's all I got for 55 plus news.
I'd like to add a brief cross-promotional message. Here on Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, our show broadcasts on WERA-FM in Arlington several times a week, but we also want our listeners to know about some other fine programs on the same station. For instance, there's The Antidote with Ken Avis. He encourages listeners to treat their ears with music, the antidote to talk radio. Jazz, world, blues, a little bit of everything to inspire you, and interviews with the finest artists passing through town. Another fine show is Practical Security with Beverly Allen. It's packed with information and tips to help listeners protect themselves, their homes, communities, and workplaces from security threats, including digital threats in cyberspace. No geek speak is allowed, so even non-technical listeners will feel right at home. And then there's Key Notes with Andrew Rood. It's a music program featuring mainly acoustic, cool, blue note, and contemporary jazz. And these are only a few of the programs our listeners can find on WERA-FM, which also streams online.
And that concludes this week's show. We will be back next week with more news from Arlington. Meanwhile, be careful, be safe, and be well.